5,000 pages of documentation came out of, the federal agents were being paid to watch porno movies and so on.
Yeah. So finally, the ultimate viral moment for this movie was, of course, Watergate. Before there was such a thing as a viral moment, what was his reaction to being dragged into?
I'll give you the quote. Okay, this is from my dad. This is not me saying. If you quote, you can quote him. He was dogged by Richard Nixon, who it's almost a history that repeats itself, is that somebody often points a finger of wrongdoing, to cover up for their own misdeeds. And so during the time of all this, he had a very, public campaign against pornography. And so, my father considered him like a nemesis. He was surveilled by the feds, and our phones were tapped. And there's, later 5,000 pages of documentation came out of, the federal agents were being paid to watch porno movies and so on. But my father, later said, when this all wrapped up, he said, Nixon tried to take down Deep Throat, but in the end, it was Deep Throat to take down Nixon. And so that became a kind of a play on words, because our father invented the term deep throat. So he was very proud of that, of making that phrase and making the dictionary. He wasn't as proud of the film. It was an early effort and the best he could do. But the fact that he made it into the dictionary was something that he said, I made a new word. Like, how many people do you know that have made a word, and got in the dictionary? And then with Watergate, now the word has two meanings. So now it's synonymous with whistleblower and informant and like that. Yeah. So,
well, I'm curious about that. He wasn't proud of the film?
Well, it was an early effort, and it was, low budget. It was the best that they could do at the time. He, again, wouldn't tell you it's a great film. He went on to make better films. His film, Devil and Miss Jones, he was much more proud of that as a film. The Story of Joanna, he considered to be his masterpiece. But Deep Throat was an early effort. Again, it was a very low budget. He was working with a young crew, some of who he had met on the underground film scene, but it was his first film together with Harry Flex, is another term that he coined, Joao Fernandez, who went on to have a Hollywood career as a cinematographer. But it was an early effort for him, but they all learned on the set and went on to make better films. So yeah, he wouldn't claim later that it was a great film, but he certainly appreciated the celebrity that it afforded him and gave him opportunities to make more films.